What's going on, guys? CryptoHoy here, and in this video I'm going to be covering Metagold's tokenomics. I'm going to be explaining what TGE means, all the type of cliffs, vesting periods. I want to be covering that all here. I also verified all of these percentages on the BSC scan as well. So I'm going to be covering that. But before we jump right in, we're going to be taking a look here at the pre-sales to see how the market is reacting to Metagold's pre-sale. So far, we see that the round one on the pre-sale is currently live, and there's 6 days left, and it's going to end on January 4th of 2023. They do, however, have a minimum contribution of 0.01 BNB of Binance token, and that pretty much right now at this, I went here to CoinGecko, and that is equivalent to $2.44. Not taking into account any transaction fees, of course, but just a rough estimate of how much is the minimum amount you will need to spend if you want to get into this pre-sale. Now, this is not financial advice, of course. I'm just giving you guys all this information, and you guys decide what you want to do. And like I always say, always do your own research and only invest what you're willing to lose. Now, let's go into the tokenomics of this project. And I already checked here also on their white paper. It's very similar to what it is on the website, but I think that the one on the website is better, more organized than the one here in the white paper. So I'm going to be using the one on the website. And so I went here to Binance Smart Chain scan, and I kind of verified here all this information. So the wallets, they do aligned to what it says on their website and on their white paper, which is great. So just to quickly, so you guys can see, 24.5% for the play to earn rewards development that has already been set apart over here. We see 24.5%. The next one is 21.5% for the listing and liquidity, and we also see that here is right here, 21.5%. The 15% for ecosystem is also here, 15%. We have the the 13% for exclusive private and pre-sale, that's also set apart right here as well. And then the next one is the 10% for staking. We also see that here as well, 10%. And we have 7.5% for company reserves. Again, it's also here, 7.5%. This one right here, where it says 4% reserved for exchanges, it says 4%, but for some reason, this one, it says 3.1%. I'm not sure why. And then when we go to the 3% team, when we go here, it says 3%, so that's great. And then these other two doesn't really line up because the last two is 1% is for airdropped, and it's going to be unlocked. So remember, 1% airdrop, but when we go here, it's actually a little bit more. It's at 1.3% airdrop, and the last one is a 0.5%. In other words, 0.5% partners and advisors. And this right here is actually 1%. So it looks like they kind of modified these last numbers, but for the most part, everything else it pretty much lines up. Now, if you're new to cryptocurrency, you might not know what TGE means. What is all these numbers underneath all of this? What do they mean, and how will it affect you? Well, when it says here TGE, that pretty much means token generation event. It's a form of ICO, but to kind of just summarize everything is when it launches. So the price of the token once it's already launched. So TGE. So right here it says the play to earn rewards and development is going to be 0% TGE, which means the developers, the owner of this project, Metagold, they won't have access to it. And they're only going to have access to 5% unlock each month after. So out of the 66.1 million tokens, they're only going to have access to 5% of that each month. So you guys can kind of think of this as like a faucet, and it's kind of like slowly dripping down some water. Okay, like it's just dripping a little bit. So imagine that every month it drips only 5%, like one little drop, 5% of the total amount of water. Okay, I'm just using that as an analogy. It's not great, it's not perfect, but hopefully this helps. And so it's going to happen until it runs out of water. Since it's 5% each month, and if we were to divide that by 100, that's going to give us 20. So that means a total of 20 months. So just right under 2 years. Once it reaches the 20th month, that means that all these tokens none of them are going to be restricted. All of them are going to be free for the developers to have access to. All right. This is good for their end because it kind of ensures us in a way that they won't just have access to the tokens and just run off. So this is a good thing for the developers and also for the retail investors. The next thing is it says here the listing and liquidity. So 10% TGE, that means that 10% of these tokens are going to be accessible for the devs and owners of this project, and then 10% are going to be released each month after that. So you're going to get 10% upfront once it's already launched, the token, and then the following month they're going to get 10% unlocked until they reach 100%. So they already got 10 upfront, and then there's going to be 9 more months to get 10% until they have, there's no restrictions anymore. And this kind of happens throughout the rest of them. So most of them have what is called a cliff, which means they won't have access to anything until that period of time is completed or has passed, or they'll have a limitation access to those tokens until it reaches the end of that cliff, and then they'll have access to 100%. So we see here the 15% of the ecosystem is 0% TGE, which means they're going to have zero access, and only 5%, again, that faucet, dripping drop, analogy. Again, it's going to be the same thing. And then we go here to the 13% exclusive private and pre-sale is also going to be 20%. They're going to have access to 20% of all these tokens right here up front. And then thereafter, each month, another 20%. So they're going to have pretty much, we're looking at another 4 months, in other words, until it completes full access of these tokens. Now, just to clarify, when it says here exclusive private and pre-sale, they're not pertaining to the retail investors who are buying right now on this pre-sale right here. Okay, so you guys won't get confused when they say exclusive private and pre-sale. It's not like us or over here. Okay, most likely, and actually I wouldn't even say most likely, but for sure, because they already confirmed this. They just made a video saying that like 3 days ago, that once it's already launched on January 24th of 2023, all the retail investors will have access to it, and it's going to be launched on PancakeSwap on the exchange, and you'll be able to swap, sell, do whatever you want with your tokens, which is great. There's no restrictions on the retail and the retail investors end, which is great, but there is going to be a restriction on the exclusive, or what was it here? Let me see. Yeah, on the exclusive private and pre-sale, which means the people who bought before us, okay, the people who bought in, okay, who invested on this token before we ever did. So if we were to add that here in the pre-sale, instead of saying pre-sale round 1, they would just add another block, like another box right here, and label it pre-sale round 0, right? That round 0 would be those exclusive private sales or private pre-sales, and then we are the actual pre-sale round 1. All right, so somebody already got a head start. So just wanted to clarify that. And the rest is pretty much very similar as I explained up here. I'm not going to cover that for the rest of the video because I don't want it to extend it too much. I just want to go straight to the point, and hopefully this was helpful and informative. And if you found this video to be helpful and informative, help support my channel by simply giving it a like. Also subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and hit the bell so you never miss another update on this Metagold Verse pre-sale, this project, and any other pre-sales that I also cover here in this video. And I also teach you guys, give you guys like a strategy of what I use for pre-sales and how I can mitigate loss as well. Because if you guys been around already for a while, there has been so many bad stories, sad stories of investors losing their money that they ended holding the bag. And some people are able to make money, which is great, but also it comes at a cost. It's a zero-sum game, guys. So whatever you earn is because somebody else lost, unless there's another person that can cover that position. But if there isn't somebody else to cover that position, it's gonna have to balance out at the end. And usually that means that the last person kind of ends up holding the bag. It didn't get out quick enough. But I'll leave that for another video. But if you guys want to learn more about those strategies, check out this video right here on those pre-sale strategies. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.